Oh, good afternoon. We're here with another website training session today. We're going to talk about managing our content in the media library. So on your WordPress website, you have a media library where everything that you add to your site is stored. And unlike our libraries as librarians, we have a lot of different layers and levels and categories and different ways for managing all of the things in our libraries. Unfortunately, the WordPress native media library is a little more limited. So there are some ways and some tips and tricks of managing the content in that library, but don't expect it to be quite as comprehensive in its normal, unaltered form as you might expect out of as librarians managing your content. But today we'll go over some of the basic tour of your media library, some ways of filtering and searching for content, ways of organizing and removing unneeded content, and then a couple of advanced features for those that might have a ton of content or more content than they're comfortable working with and want to be able to do some more organizing. The media library is located on that left-hand side column of different menu items. So if you are on your website dashboard, and it's usually located right beneath posts and above pages. And most of you are probably pretty familiar with adding items to this media library as part of your daily routine of putting on posts and information on your website. The first thing to see in here is that if you have an image item in your library, it has a preview image of what that content is. If you have a document on your media, in your media library, which would be a Word document, a PDF, Excel file, you are only going to get the generic document icon to show you what is all in here. The default view on your media library is what's called the grid view. And you have this list of different grid items. And the native sort is simply by the most recent item uploaded. So in this case, the Purple Crying Campaign image here is the most recent item that was uploaded to the media library. So it'll appear in the upper left-hand corner. And as we scroll down, it'll show you probably about approximately 80, maybe a few more items. And as you scroll down, you can click to load more, and it will show you all of the items in the reverse order, reverse chronological order, with the newest item first and the oldest item at the bottom. You do have a few search and filter options if you're looking for a particular media item. The drop-down menu here will show you the option to view only images, and that will filter out images. You can view if there's any audio on your website. In this case, there isn't. Video also. There are a few videos on this particular website. And you have, again, that generic video icon. Documents, which includes, of note, both Word documents and PDFs. So documents will show you anything that basically is text. So if you have a text document, you might have an open Office Word document or text document, you might have Notepad. If you have anything with text, it's going to fall under documents. There is a special section for spreadsheets. So if you ever upload a spreadsheet to your website. And archives, we'll explain archives, unattached, and mine in a few minutes. We'll come back to that. But the main thing here is that the images, audio, video, documents, and spreadsheets, of which probably 99% on your website are images or documents. The next level of filtering that is easily available to you is by date. This is really all you get, is you get a month and a year. You don't have many options for being able to see everything within a year or see anything between a certain range of dates. You can filter down to view what was posted within a particular month, and that's pretty much all you got. However, one thing that is kind of nice is the search feature in your media library. Search is pretty powerful if you have done a couple of things. And this is where we're going to move away from the actual filtering for just a moment, and we're going to look at a media item in your library. If you click on an item, just like when you're cataloging books or materials for your library, there is a certain amount of metadata that is automatically provided within your media library to each item. And then there's the option to add some additional metadata. So metadata is used for identifying features about your media items. In this case, the Click for Babies. If you look over here, it says that it was uploaded on December 9th, 2023. It was uploaded by this user. It was uploaded to a certain page, and we are going to talk about this in a minute, about how you know if where it's being uploaded to. And then what the file name was, what the file type is, file size, and dimensions. All of this is set by your by WordPress when you upload a file. You have some options for providing some additional metadata to the media items in your collection, and that includes alternative text. And alternative text is a tool used by screen readers to help identify what the image is when a person cannot visually see the item. There's a couple things that might happen. Maybe you have a person who has difficulty viewing, whether they're blind or have low vision. And so they're using assistive technology to give a verbal explanation of what is visually on the screen. It may also be that somebody has a very poor internet connection and they're unable to load images, in which case the alternative text will appear on the page and will give a description of the image that is missing. You can also change the title of your media item. Note by default, the file name, logo header extra large, becomes the title of your media item. You can add a caption, and a caption will appear anywhere on the website that an image is uploaded. So or at least in certain places. If you have a featured image or other places, you can add a caption. A description doesn't appear anywhere publicly on your website, but it is a way of searching for particular media items. And then the file URL is what is automatically provided by your WordPress so that you can find where it's located on your website. Note that it is added to the uploads folder. It is given the date that it was added, and then the image file name is what was added for the URL. You can edit a few more details within here. And this will bring up some more options for the description if you really want to dig in deep for some things. Alternative text will give you some other things. And you can update all of this. You can also delete your file from within the edit. So there's a couple things about this particular image that might be of interest. One of them is that the way it was uploaded with the name logo header extra large is not very descriptive of what the image is or what it's being used for. So one of the downsides to this is that if you are searching for, if maybe next year you want to also repeat the campaign for the Purple Crying campaign, if you wanted to repeat that, and you're searching within your media library for Purple Crying campaign, it may not find it because the file name in this case, or the title in this case, does not have anything about Purple Crying or campaign And there's really nothing in the metadata that is going to make this image searchable for the future. So let's do that as an example here. If we know we're looking for an image, so we're going to look for images under this. Let's go back to all media items, and then images. So here we have all of our images, but if next year I'm looking for the Purple Crying campaign and I put in purple, no media items are found. The search does not look at content of the image or document itself. It only looks at the media or the metadata attached to it. So one thing you can do is you could add a description. Logo for Purple Crying campaign. Oh, I might have to do it under, sorry, edit more details. Logo for Purple Crying campaign. Do that under the under edit more details and then update. And now we have a logo with or we have a caption and a description. I didn't want a caption. Description. That's better. Okay. Now let's go back to our media. And I know I'm looking for an image. I'm going to look for purple. And now it appears because we've added that text to our metadata. So you do have a fair amount of searchable control as long as your file name or the metadata that you're looking for can help you. It can find can be a tool, or as long as you have metadata with keywords, you can use the search feature within your media library. In managing your media library, one of the things that you may find yourself wanting to do is to limit the amount of content you have in your media library. Media does slow your, media can slow the internet down for the speed at which your website functions down if you have too much media on your website, particularly a web page. Try to limit and not have pages with too much content on it, but also just the fact that your media library has a lot of content in it can impact the function of your website. So if you have time and you have the ability to do this, one of the things that you can do if you know that you have media that are outdated and unneeded is you can choose to remove them from your media library. To do that, perhaps you know, one of the things that I often do is I look for the oldest content, with the exception of things that are like your standard library, like your library picture or logo. And we'll talk a little bit more about being able to identify what things are still being used. But let's say we know that we no longer need these two items from April of 2029. You can select each one and delete them permanently directly by individual, or you can do a bulk select and you can select multiple items, and then you have the option to delete permanently from within the media library directly right there. I'm not going to do this right now. I'm not going to delete these items from this particular website because I don't know if they're still being used. But if you know that you've got media files that aren't in use anymore, this would be how you would do it. You can use the bulk select to find those items. All deletes, all media items. An additional view option that I don't know if it gets used quite enough, actually. I have discovered that I like working with the list view within my media library. And one of the reasons I like the list view is because it does give us some more sort and metadata view right from the beginning. So here you do continue to have on the left-hand column with the file, you get the file name, you get a small preview of that item. You have the user that uploaded it. You have where it was uploaded to, and again, we'll circle back to this in just a minute, but you also have the date it was uploaded in this column. So you can do some more sorting. If you wanted to see the oldest items first, if you click on the date, it will reverse sort the items on your website. And if you click on the author, you can find items that were uploaded by us at WVLS or at Lee, Wisconsin, and IFLS and Northern Waters, or you can see the items that were uploaded by a particular user to your website. One of the things that I have recently discovered as being a good option for finding things that are not being used on my website is to look at where a file has been uploaded to. I'm going to give you this tip, but I'm going to give it to you with some caveats. This uploaded to, when you are creating a post or a web page, part of the metadata that is added to the media items that you attach to a web page or a new blog post is the uploaded to file. So if you are creating like this January newsletter, this post for a January newsletter, and you add a featured image to it, that image in the media file will be indicated as being uploaded to that January newsletter. If you have files that are unattached, this can be handy in a couple of ways, but it's got a big caveat and a big warning with it. Unattached may mean that the post or the page has been deleted and that media item is no longer associated with a post or a page. Unless, and this is the caveat, the page already exists and you are adding a media item to it later. So this is an advanced technique. And I just want, this is one of the things that for thinking through items on your website, if you really want to manage your media. For example, let's see. These items look like they've been added. The December 2023 agenda, November 7, 2023 minutes were probably added to a library board page. Sometimes you're uploading an agenda and you have an amended agenda and you take down one item and you upload another and you want to get rid of that other item. The unattached can be a way of finding those duplicate items. But if you're continuing to add new items to a post or a page after you've published it, it does not always indicate that it has been attached to that item. However, if you're in here and you want to, you could click on the attach link under here and find the page to which it belongs, and you can manually attach it to that page. It's not always listed here, and you notice here these are all posts for the most part. And there's a few more tricks and caveats to this. If the page has been if it was one of the very first pages that was published to your website and you're not seeing that list, you may need to go back to that page and republish it with an updated date. And at that point, you'll be able to find it in the list. So this is something that maybe we'll cover in a 201 recording at some time, or a 201 session when we can play around with things a little bit more. But I just want to bring your attention to this, being able to sort by uploaded to. You can look through these pages and posts and determine if that page or post is still up to date, And it might be a very quick way to identify media that is either outdated or needs to be attached officially to a page so that you can make sure that the most updated media is on that page. So we can cover that more in depth at another time. I just want you to be aware that that is a sort option, but it is not always an indication of whether that media file is actually being used or not on your website. I'm going to pause there. You guys have any questions before I go to the next? Generally, large media files, that's one of the disadvantages is there's no real way on here to sort by large or size, to find large size media files for deletion. But if you have videos on your website, most often those are the largest files. And those, if you do find that your website is draggy or has a large number of video files, if you have outdated videos, that is a very good thing to delete. It's also a good practice, generally with video files, is to upload something to like YouTube or another video service and Vimeo or something, and then link back to that, as opposed to actually uploading the file to your website. So as a quick review, we have a couple different view options. One of them is the first and most default view is the grid view, and that just shows you quick preview images of the different files. Again, in reverse chronological order, with the newest item in the upper left corner, running from left to right and down to the bottom with the oldest item at the bottom. You can filter with some different filter options. Mainly the first probably 5 are the ones you are going to use. Don't see a lot of library websites that are using spreadsheets on a regular basis. The unattached also comes into play here. So these are all the image file or media files that are listed as unattached to the web page. And anything that has been uploaded by the current user that is logged in is also visible under this sort. You can sort by date, or you can filter by date, and you can also search, and that search does cover anything that is included in the metadata for a media file. And another reminder, the more descriptive title or file name that you use when you upload a document, the easier it will be to search for later. One other option you do have is to do some editing of an image within your media library. There is the option for cropping, scaling, and image rotation. So if you do upload a file that you feel like needs some minor adjustments and you don't want to take it out, you redo it in Canva and upload it again, you can crop and you can scale and you can rotate right directly within WordPress. It's not necessarily as easy a cropping mechanism. You can, I find it a little bit clunky within here, but it is definitely an option if it's just one small change you need to make instead of deleting a file and re-upload. Let's see. You can, another interesting or nice tool is with this copy URL to clipboard. If you wanted to share the January 2024 agenda as a link, you can come in here and copy that link right to the clipboard and paste it into an email or into another document so that you can share that link to the individual document from the website or media item from the website without having to direct to a specific page. And finally, just a note again about text documents, that this will have both of a doc. Any text files will appear the same. Just a note that these will be downloaded as links. So when you put them on your website, you're not going to see a preview. You're only going to see a link name, and then that will be downloaded on your user's computer for viewing. Now I'm going to show you an advanced trick. This is for libraries with large quantities of media files that you use actively on your website. And I'm going to use the WVLS page as an example because there are a large number of media files here. I have added to this web page, or to this particular web page, we have added a plugin called Real Media Library. And we're using the free version. There's a couple extra features in the pro version, but I don't know that that is a necessary thing. The Real Media Library plugin creates folders for organizing your media on your media library. It doesn't change any metadata. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't sort automatically. It is a manual sort. But what you can do is you can create a new folder, and then you can simply, in fact, some of these I can do right now. I have a folder for Monday mentions. And so down here, I have this Monday mentions folder. And this is where I like the grid view, or the list view as opposed to the grid view, because I can see where it was uploaded to. And I see that on January 2nd, 2024, this file was added to Monday mentions. And I can click and I can drag and drop it into the Monday mentions folder in my media library. When I click on this, what I've done in this situation is I've taken all of the WVLS pages, and I've basically made media pages for each one of the website pages. So the home page, about, contact us, and I created media files for them. And then I am sorting and organizing the media files that are currently on those web pages into these media folders. This way I can go back after, if we update a document on the web page, I can come back in here and I can find the outdated documents and delete those after we have replaced them with new updated files. This is really something that's probably only necessary for libraries that have multiple pages with large numbers of media on each of those pages, but it can be a handy tool. Let me also show you one of the other ways. What's nice is when there are multiple people working on a website and not everybody is always uploading media files and tagging and identifying them. There's, you can click on unorganized and you can see all of the files that have not yet been added. In this case, most of these I see that's uploaded to the January newsletter, the library legislative day, holiday closures, and the WEMTA scholarships. These, in this case, I know are all featured images. So they're nothing special. They're just a blog featured image, and eventually they could be deleted. So I can click, I can do a bulk action on these. I'm going to check mark all of these, and I'm going to drag over to the file that I have for blog featured images and others. I have a few others that are a little bit more of a mystery, and I believe these are related to youth services based on the author who uploaded them. I can attach those to pages when I know which ones they belong to. This one is another, these are more blog features. And in this case, I do know which page these belong to. These are attached to team services. So I can take those and drag those into the team services. And as I do this, it automatically moves them out of the unorganized folder and into other folders. When you are adding a new file, so if you click on Add New, when you have this plugin added to your website, it gives you the option to organize it right away. So if I know that I'm going to be adding a new image to, let's say, I will have a new headshot eventually, to the Contact Us, I can add a new headshot. In fact, it'll be for our new for our new employee for websites who starts today. Brendan will soon have his. When I have his headshot, I'll be able to take this, add it to Contact in Hours, which I know is the page that goes on. I'll select the file, and then I'm just going to go ahead and use that for right now, which I know is not his page, but now that is uploaded, and I now have a new file available for me when I create a new page. So anywhere, even if I'm in the page or on a post, if I create a new post and I add a new featured image to that post, when I upload that file, I have the option to organize it right away. Or I can come back later. Oops. Media library. I can come back here, and then I can, when I have this plugin, I can change the folder that it is going to be uploaded to, or that it exists and it is organized within. So just a couple different options for using the Real Media Library plugin for organizing your media library. It's still a manual process. It's not an, I do not recommend any plugins other than this one at this point, because I have tested a few others. They are supposed to be able to go through and auto sort or auto organize your media items, or they're supposed to be able to figure out whether they're attached and being used on your website. I have made the mistake of deleting files unintentionally that are still in use on the library website, and find out later that there's a broken link. So I do not recommend doing anything with your media library other than this plugin. Notice, however, even though I had decided to upload this file to a particular folder, it is still listed as unattached. I can't, and I need to come in here and manually attach it to the page that I think it needs to go into. So that's just another, there are a bunch of different steps if you're keeping a very well-organized media library. There are a lot of manual steps to it, but it will make it easier for finding and deleting items when you want to do that. That's my just in my presentation today. Does anybody have any questions on that right now?
I don't have questions. That's real helpful. I had not known you could sort it that many different ways. I hadn't played with that. I've just uploaded and I've looked at how large our media library is and wondered about, weeding through it and whether that'd be a good idea. But now knowing I can do it by date and all of that, it'll make me feel more confident if I decide to clean it up.
Yeah, good. It's not a super user-friendly kind of sort and filter that I would hope it is, but if you're able to stay on top of things well enough, at least it gives you somewhere to start.
Sure.
Yeah. And it'd be nice, like if you deleted a post, to have those the media files, but I understand why it doesn't happen. If you delete a post, it's not going to delete those files because they might be referred to somewhere else on your website. That said, it'd be really nice if it kind of like gave you an option to be like, here's a media item on your post. Do you want this to go away too?
Yeah.
There may be in the future another plugin that we will, and I'm just getting to the point of testing that one out, where when you upload a file to replace an old file, that it will literally overwrite and replace that file. That is an additional plugin. We're not quite there yet with it, but that may be coming. I'll stop recording for now. So thank you all for joining me, but I'll still be here for a couple minutes for you.